the Dipatoe. How you
Welcome
doing,
to the
guys?
Dipatoe Let's Talk Crypto Show. I'm good, Melissa. How are you?
I'm fantastic on this hot Wednesday. So hot.
So hot. How hot?
Too hot. It's too hot. Yeah. I need an air conditioner because I'm way
You
too
need an air conditioner. I need to feel the breeze under these. Can you please help us out? There you go.
Lay it down for me. Huh?
I think you need to lay it down. Put that AC right here.
I am super excited. Tonight. Tonight we're dipping our toe into Ark Institute.
Whoa,
And
baby.
oh yeah. So those of you who are not familiar with Ark Institute, they're leveraging the new economic system that's created by the Repo Financial, the Atum group. And many of you might remember our recent interviews that we had with Patrick L. Riley. That was episode 27 and 28 on the Dipatoe Show, where he went over the Reaper token and Ascension. And so this is the third leg of that, the Ark token. And the Ark token is built on the XRP ledger also. And what they do is they aim to provide charities with an innovative method of self-sustaining funding. And they want to enable charities that help like supporting life to forget about having to put their own hand out there, continuously asking for money. And so that they can provide a much needed service to the world. And so this Ark token is going to provide them with a way to do that without having to have their hand out all the time. And then probably all of the things that go along with somebody that's donating bulks of money, the stipulations and stuff. So it's very interesting. I'm super, super, super excited to have our guest here. His name is Greg Prewett, and he is the CEO. Prewett. And he's here to explain to us what it is and how it works and how you can get involved. So, sweet. And before we bring Greg on, I just want to welcome everybody that's with us live now. We've got Drew Anke and Curly Bill. Is in here. The cheap suit is in here, and the new mindset. We love you guys. Thank you so much for coming to the Dipatoe Crypto. Lisa,
professor's in the house.
Yeah. So if you guys would join us in welcoming Greg Prewett to the Dipatoe Show.
What's up, guys?
How are you, Greg?
I am so blessed. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
More than welcome, Greg. Thanks for making the time for us today on the Dipatoe Let's Talk Crypto Show, man.
Of course.
I'm excited.
So when we were in Vegas, I'm telling you guys, you two were my favorite people.
Oh,
y'all had such an aura around you the whole time we hung out, and it was just such a good thing to hang out.
Likewise,
we loved
totally.
it. We loved it,
man. Yeah.
The night we all shared together was fantastic.
It was.
Was it just one night? I swear there was 3 nights.
There were multiple nights. I gotta tell you, speaking of auras, my glasses came in from Russia.
Oh,
so
what is good?
I found these glasses that apparently it's supposed to make you be able to see people's auras easily. I guess easier. So I had to buy them, and I ordered them from Russia, and it was pretty sketchy, but I got through it. So I've been doing a little bit of studying up on this because I want to see people's auras. I want to see my kids' auras, So I've been doing some research, and I learned how to train my eyes to be able to see my own on my hand.
Right.
And so
it's about right here.
Yeah, you look between the fingers.
You can kind of just see it about a ½ inch off the skin. Yeah.
So I was kind of skeptical at first because I wasn't sure if it was really an aura you were seeing or if it was just like an eye trick that happens when you stare that certain way.
Sure.
So these come in, and they don't magically make you see people's auras automatically. You still have to use your eye trick. But the difference is, after you move your hand away, your aura handprint stays there for a couple months.
What?
Fascinating.
That's awesome. Wow. So have you tested it out on people so far?
Just my hand and my kids.
Your hand and your kids?
Yeah,
are you seeing the auras that you expected?
I don't know what I expected. So I saw auras. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids have like a yellowish aura. Mm-hmm. I had a light blue aura, and then I had like a bright white aura. And I don't know what any of that means anyways. I haven't looked into it, but I find it pretty fascinating.
I love it. You know what? I love it just that you even thought to buy the glasses and you weren't intimidated that they were coming from Russia.
Yeah, as soon as I ordered it, I posted it on Facebook, and one of our community members, Seesaw, said, "Oh, I can teach you how to see auras without them. All I need is a couple of chairs and a few beers." And I was like, "Really?" So I started looking into it and researching it, and sure enough, it's pretty awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the old AI Googles here tells us that yellow is a emotional layer, can mean finding joy in everyday life and working hard. That resonates with kids. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. Blue is a spiritual layer of the throat chakra, can indicate someone who is intuitive and sensitive, or who is a strong communicator. There's a few more notes on that, but I just thought I had to Google it real quick. I'm like, yeah, what are the color breakdowns? So that's cool.
I want to welcome Tiara's here, and Crypto Bacon Bits is in the house. Mm-hmm. Sasha Riley, welcome.
Hi, Sasha.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you guys all here. Please, there's 18 of you in here. If you wouldn't mind to retweet or I keep saying tweet, but whatever, re-X this out. If you're watching on, so right now we're streaming on Rumble, Facebook, like a whole bunch of different Twitter accounts, and the YouTubes. So hopefully we'll get this spread far and wide.
Melissa, it's always going to be Twitter.
Mr. Man's in the house.
Right? Mr. Man. We love you, Mr. Man. Great guy there. If you guys are interested in deep diving, he's a deep diver. Sure. What up, Curly Bill? So before I know we spoke with Patrick and regarding all of the different projects, or two of the projects, and we didn't really touch. We dipped a little toe into the Ark. But this is kind of your baby now. You're the man that's behind the curtain when it comes to this Ark Institute and the Ark token. But I wanted our audience to get to know who you are as a person first. It's kind of something we like to do on Dipatoe, is to really get to know the person behind the people that we're interviewing for these projects, because I think it's really important for people to know what kind of folks are building on the XRP ledger. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What started first, if you wouldn't mind. Just started.
Yeah.
Terrence Howard remembers himself when he was in the room.
Coming through the tunnel, yeah.
Coming through the tunnel.
Yeah, when you're coming through the tunnel, just kind of start from there.
Yeah, I don't think my community really knows a whole lot about my background, who I am. So yeah, we can kind of go way back and start. I had a really incredible upbringing. I had incredible parents that loved me, a great sister who I'm still close with today. One of those childhoods that so few children get to have, and it's not like we were rich, but I never went without. So I was very, very blessed growing up. My mother, throughout my childhood, was a special needs teacher. So I got to witness her constantly giving her time and money to these kids as she moved up in grades with the same class all the way through 12th grade. And she is the most giving, compassionate person I've ever met. So getting to see that really had an effect on me growing up, because it made it easy for me to understand how important that is. Not that I've always done the right things, when presented with the opportunities, but it definitely made it easier for me. It made it to where anytime I had a communication with somebody else, all I really wanted was them to walk away from that conversation feeling better about themselves than when they got there. So, and my dad, he struggled with how many special needs kids came home with her every day after school. And, we gained custody of several of them throughout the years, and he struggled with it.
Yeah.
But he always jumped right in and killed it. So it changed my dad for the better. And so it was a great childhood. Graduated and went to college, got a full ride music scholarship. I was a vocal major. What I planned on doing with that was I was going to do elementary music teacher. It ended up not working out because I realized I really didn't want to work for the school systems. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have lasted very long anyways. But I really wanted to design like a curriculum for babies. I wanted to figure out what types of music from from in the womb up until their brains are kind of done with that optimal development stage.
Yeah.
And so I did it with my kids. I would play some of the most difficult classical pieces, piano pieces, put headphones on, on her stomach. And then when they were in the cribs, I was always playing difficult music for them. Some of the most difficult style chords and progressions. And both of my kids can sing really well. So they have really good ears. And I think there is a lot of science behind it. I just haven't really had a lot of time to spend.
I have to tell you, I did the same thing when my boys were growing up. I was always playing the classical, more complex type music. And, even when they got older and I would be driving them to school, our car was playing, Mozart and stuff like that. But both of my boys are incredibly musically inclined. My one sings, they play instruments, self-taught, and so I agree with you. It makes a difference. So,
I'm sure genetics plays a large part of it too. You're a wonderful singer as well. So I'm sure that plays a part of it, but I think there's a lot of science behind it that I would love to maybe one day get into. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you think that playing music to them now, like say if it's a stressful situation or, as they're getting older, if you play the music in the background, have you tried to see if it calms the situation down at all? Or isn't it something? It's amazing. I think I love that. I love that about you. That's fantastic.
It was it works just as well as a slice of cheese thrown on their face.
Yeah.
I take it you got that trick from your dad?
No, I just see the videos of sauce and cheese.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was asking. Yeah, that's why I was asking. I'm like, that would be a dad play for sure. Here you go. Bam! Oh, almost dad. Try again.
Well, so I guess priorities changed, and I did 2 years of college and decided to go another route. So I joined the Coast Guard. I did 7.5 years in the Coast Guard, working on electronics. Had a fantastic time. Loved every bit of it. Loved every station I went to, from California to North Carolina to Hawaii to Alaska is where I ended up, in Kodiak, Alaska, and found my wife in the Coast Guard. We got married, and we ended up, after we got out, we moved back to Texas, and I got a job with Rockwell Collins as an engineer, working on different Air Force and Navy bases all around the world. And I would travel anywhere from Japan to Diego Garcia to Ascension Island, England, South America. So I got to go to so many amazing places. Did that for a few years, and then we started to try to have children. So I was like, well, maybe I'll find something that's not so time consuming with the travel. And, if something were to happen, I wouldn't be able to get back very quick. So we ended up, so about that time is when we got pregnant with our first boy, and we ended up losing him at birth. So it really started to throw a lot of things into perspective for me, about what's important to me. That was kind of a very difficult time in my life, and I hit it. I had to be the strong one for my wife. I put a lot of that on the back burner, but I'm always in the back of my mind going, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? It really shows you how precious life is.
Absolutely.
Well, after that, we ended up having two beautiful little girls, 4 and 7 now. But it really made me start thinking. I just wasn't sure what it was. So after we had our first one, Ainsley, my wife got deathly ill. She got what's called Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is when you have any kind of genetic material entered into your body, there's a protein attached to that genetic material. And if it matches close enough to your proteins in your nerves, once you're done fighting off that foreign substance, it's still in attack mode, and your body starts attacking your own nervous system.
Oh, it doesn't turn off.
And it paralyzes you basically from the head to your toes, starting in your fingers and toes, and then it moves its way up your body. So we were in the ICU for 30 days. And she was completely paralyzed. And there's two different kinds. So there's one kind where you're paralyzed and you don't feel anything. There's another kind where you're completely paralyzed, but every single nerve in your body is on fire. And of course, that's what she had.
Yeah, she got that one. Yeah.
So it was a very, very long month of ICU, not sleeping. She couldn't sleep no matter what drugs they gave her because she's constantly. It was bad. So after that, she recovered pretty quickly.
God. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. God had his hand on this whole thing. About 6 months later, she was able to relearn to walk, relearn to eat, relearn to do a lot of things for herself. She still has nerve pains. Half her face is still, so what is that?
It's numb.
Yeah.
Like Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy. Thank you. Yeah. She still has trouble with half of her face. But other than that, she's almost completely back to normal. Thank God. So,
thank God.
Yeah. Amen.
So after that, we were kind of like, well, I think we need a change. And we decided at that point, I think let's move back to Alaska because we missed it so much. So we did, and I got a job climbing towers with AT&T, and loved doing that. Loved the work, loved the climbing, loved the cold. But my body was slowly telling me this is a 20-year-old job.
Yeah, right.
Very, very relatable right here. Union sheet metal worker. I know what it's all about. Beating up your body. Yeah, for sure.
So we made it back up there, got settled in with my job, and I went on a hunt with one of my friends who had a plane that could get me into the hunting area to go bear hunting that you can't get to by boat or by four-wheeler or
you're not walking
car.
there.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no cell phone service. So we took his plane out and I went hunting, got my bear in about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And then we were on our way back out and we were in a plane crash. So
oh my goodness,
that really woke me up. And I decided, okay, I really need to figure out what I need to be doing.
Wow.
I felt like it was almost God trying to get my attention. Maybe what I'm doing is not.
Hence my laugh. You know, like I'm like, I don't know, whatever God was trying to throw your way, you just kept missing the ball. Like, no.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm supposed to be here for a reason, right? So at that point, I was already a part of the Reaper ecosystem, and I had put quite a bit of money into it. And
you were already part of it when you got in this plane crash?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that was in 2022.
Holy smokes.
Oh,
so yeah, I got a hold of Patrick and I said I would love to come down and meet with you, chat with you. If I'm going to put this much money into something, I would like to make sure that you're legitimate. You're not somebody who you say you're not. You know, I just wanted to make sure that I was putting my money in a good place. And he said, absolutely. So I flew down to Texas from Alaska and spent 2.5 days with him and had the best time. Got to know him really well. We became good friends. And it was, I told him at the end of that trip, I said, if you ever start any kind of nonprofit or charity, let me know. I would love to run it. And he said, absolutely. So a couple months later, I had an idea to use his tokenomics for another token and use it to benefit charities. And I called him up, gave him the idea. He said, I love it. Let's work out some kinks and then we'll get it started in the next 2 months.
Wow.
All right, let's do it.
So
that's amazing.
So how did you, so everything you just said is like, just wow. Thank God that you survived the plane crash and, you know, you realized that it was a wake up call. Like, you're just like, okay, it's a calling. What am I going to do? What am I supposed to be doing with my life?
There was multiple incidences. There was that was like the most recent.
That was the most recent last straw, right? I mean, several challenges that you've had.
If my wife was in your wife's situation, and then I just said, "Hey, baby, I'm gonna go climb 50 to 100 foot cell towers to put on these antennas for AT&T," my wife would be like, do you want to die by my hand or God's hand? If you want to die by God's hand, then you will not do that. If you want to die by my hand, you go on up there and go ahead and see how far you make it.
Well, I love the climbing. I did the climbing in the Coast Guard too. You know, we had a lot of towers and antennas in the Coast Guard. So I got, I was an instructor for tower climbing. So I had all the background and knowledge. From it. So, but yeah, so after the plane crash was kind of when I adopted the saying, it matters so little, and made that really work for my life and starting to understand of what really does matter in life. So you'll hear me use that phrase a lot and I mean it. So,
and it's a good saying. What, how did you get interested in the crypto space and the digital asset space? Like, when did you become interested in it? How long have you been? How long have you been interested in the digital asset space, crypto space?
Well, I started looking into Bitcoin probably around 2018, but I never bought any. I was just curious.
Same.
Because I understood what was really wrong with the financial system. And I could tell at that point, okay, this Bitcoin thing I think is going to be something really big. as far as what are we transitioning to get out of this debt-based fiat currency mess that we're in, that they've put us in, right? So I started looking into it. I just never got real big into it. And it wasn't until 2020 when we moved back to Alaska, and there was a guy that I worked with that was in XRP. And that's when I got introduced to XRP. And then I started doing more research. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, this is way better, way faster, way cheaper, fixes everything, you know, that was wrong with Bitcoin. And I never looked back. So the more I got into XRP, the more I started looking into some of the projects that were built on it. And that's kind of how I found Patrick and what he was building. Wow.
And you believed in it so much that you put a stack of money into it, right? You could identify with his vision, and the tokenomics made sense to you then, huh?
It absolutely did. The big picture is really what grabbed my attention as far as, you know, he has plans for replacing the Federal Reserve. He has plans for buying a bank and fixing everything that's wrong with a bank, but keeping it a decentralized banking system where you still have custody of your own funds. So it just, everything resonated with me. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So you pretty much came up with this idea then, inspired him to put together something in regards to the Ark Institute and the Ark token. Tell us a little bit more about that. So he says, yes, I've got it. And then turn the reins over to you. Is that about right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he let me have it from the beginning. He said, this is your baby. I'm going to let you do it. You know, if you need help with anything, let me know, type thing. You know, he's really the one that can come on here and give you a lot of wisdom and knowledge in this area. And I'm not extremely knowledgeable when it comes to finances or how these tokenomics work, although I've learned them. But you know, one thing I am good at, and that's caring. And I care about this project and what I'm building. And I think that's why he let me just take it, because he knows how much it means to me. So I'm not an expert, and I'll never claim to be, but I want to help as many people as possible, especially with this transition we're going through. You know, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, families, one person in the household could work, and they could support a mortgage and a car and another car if needed, and food. And all you hear today is how nobody can afford anything. People are having 2 or 3 jobs just to stay afloat without being able to save anything, which is a problem.
It is a problem.
And it's going to get worse and worse. So I foresee in the next 5 to 10 years, as this problem exponentially gets worse, there's going to be a much bigger for charities, because there's going to be a lot more homeless people, a lot more people that can't afford to eat. And that's why I'm trying to build as quickly and as fast as I can now.
Yeah.
To be able to be that whatever I need to be for whatever we're about to go through.
You know, I was looking at the white paper last night just to refresh my memory from when Patrick was first on. I tried to do all the pillars. I don't recommend doing that, by the way, because you get lost in who's who, or at least I did. But you know, I found it a very interesting take within the white paper, and going through the process of how you verify a company and their intentions. I thought that was great. Really, I mean, but simply put, right? Don't need to complicate something that's not very complicated. But what I really liked was this was the idea that's within the white paper, and I'm sure you can elaborate on this a little further here, and that is you're essentially taking away the burden from the companies that donate to charities, for them to know that their money is going to good things. And right now we don't really have a as transparent system that the Ark Institute and that token offers. And when I was reading again last night, I was like, holy buckets, that's right, dude. This is absolute fire. It's only going to take one actual company to a major company to go, here's the accountability, here's where it went, and it's done. There's no more huge auditing or anything like that, and full transparency. And I absolutely love that, because you're not just solving one problem. Okay, in my opinion, within the space, and I've been actively participating since 2016. It's the companies and projects that don't just solve one problem. They have one thing that is multifaceted to fix a multitude of problems at the same time, and that's a winning project in my opinion. And that's what I see are the successes. XRP Ledger, I rest my case as one example.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think it's really awesome. Oh, Melissa, your turn.
No, well, what I wanted to lead him into, in a perfect world, what his vision is. What's your vision of how charities should work? Because right now, I mean, many donors would be shocked to know that maybe 10% of their donations actually go for the charitable cause that they're donating to. And so there's a lot of there's a lot of overhead costs and whatnot. People pop up these charities all over the place, call themselves a 501c3, but they're really not donating to what you think they are. And they're covering all their expenses, they're paying for advertising, and they're doing very little charitable work. And so it's kind of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths when it comes to quote unquote charity. And so one of the things that, really drew my attention to Ark Institute is that you are different. There is like Simon was saying, there's a level of accountability. I guess you call them gates that they have to go through. But before you started talking about that, I wanted to, your vision of how you think in a perfect world, how would the charities work? How would you think that they should work to benefit, to give the most benefit to humanity and to those that want to give? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the reason that we're tokenizing fundraising, because these digital assets they're going to fix so many problems, and this is just one of the many that it's going to fix. So currently the way that charities have to raise money is do fundraisers, reach their hand out and beg for money, and in a sense people have to hurt themselves to help others. And we wanted to fix that, this incredible tokenomics model that nobody has to hurt themselves to help another charity. So we're going to do it for you, and we're going to pay you a passive income, which is kind of the way we wanted to do it. But people don't trust nonprofits for a good reason too. I mean, it's kind of like the tax code. These big money
don't get me started on the tax code.
Here we go.
These big money charities know how to take advantage of 501c3 status, and
yes,
they're taking home way too much money. Very, very little is actually going to the cause, which is, of course, why we had to come up with the 12 gates, which that's one of them, is at least 70% has to go towards the cause.
Yes.
We don't expect all of it to, because people have to be paid for their time, their efforts. So as long as they're not overpaid, fine. I think the only one that I know of is Mr. Ballin. I don't know if y'all know who he is on YouTube, but he's got a charity for victims of like abuse and
domestic violence.
And he's helping out these families, and 100% of the proceeds actually goes to the cause, and that's the only one I know of.
Wow, that's incredible.
But we don't expect that from all these other charities, right? But we do expect at least 70%, and I think that's very fair.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what, Greg? As we're many of us are becoming more enlightened to the things around us that we used to trust blindly, right? You give money out of your paycheck to Red Cross and those types of places, and even at the level of you're at your employers and you could check a box off, right? So your employer is collecting it for you to pass it through the charities that they've deemed that they're going to cooperate with or whatever. And we just assume that it's going. And then those of us that started giving attention to things and looking a little deeper and realizing, Red Cross doesn't want to be audited. They don't want to turn their books over. There's no transparency. Or a lot of us are really busy too, to where you're not going to be knocking on the door saying, show me your books. But the average person, I tend to believe that people are good, right? We do want to help. And to provide an avenue for folks to help other people, it's just like this perpetuous cycle that's just gonna explode like or just gain momentum like a snowball running down a hill, right? It's gonna get bigger and bigger. And the fact that you guys are capitalizing on the new innovations that are here, recognizing the potential of the XRP ledger and the tokenization in the way that you have of something like, it's genius. And to have the forethought at this point in time to begin something like that is incredible. And I don't know of any other institute that's doing that. So I'm really excited about what you're building. And we definitely want to learn more about it.
Yeah, we definitely found 4 incredible ones to get us started. And to be honest with you, it's really sad how many we've looked at that won't pass our gates. It's just so hard to find any good ones, which was a lot of the reason that we created Phase 5, which hopefully we'll get to within the next year or two, which will be our incubator, to where we'll be able to start our own charities in the areas that need it the most or need whatever the most. We've got in our Phase 3, we have the Ark card, which is basically it's going to be a debit card that is tied to the XRP ledger, to where homeless people will be able to receive money from people when we're in a cashless society. So you can give to a homeless person through your window without ever having to roll it down. And then they'll be able to take that card and go to an ATM and share that money with people in their communities. But it will also give us a lot of data on where the biggest needs are. So we'll take all that data and be able to, start our own charities and find the right people to head them up. And but it is really sad how hard it is to find good ones.
You know what I thought though, Greg, was with your gates that you so when people start charities, a lot of people, there's so many good people that want to do good things, right? And they see a need in their community and they say, darn it, I'm going to be the one to set up this 501c3 charity to help others. But they don't have any business experience. They don't know anything of how to organize these things. And they tend to be the ones to do things themselves, right? They're trying to juggle all the balls because they don't have somebody on the same page and whatever. And so I see what you guys are building as a tool to help these folks understand what they need to do to become a vetted charity that can pass through all of your gates, right? And so part of what you're doing, whether you intentionally did it or not, I think is really fantastic, because anybody that's interested in doing it, they're going to have those resources and the models of other charities that are doing it, quote unquote, right. So I find that super exciting. And I wonder if you guys have plans on that to make it a little bit easier for those that don't pass your gates, but that they can have some guidance on like what they need to do. Because I always tend to believe that there's more good people in the world than bad. And anybody that's going to try to apply to become part of your charity, 9 times out of 10 are probably going to be really good folks that just don't have all the pieces of the puzzle in place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, with our phase 2, so what we're going to do is and I'll get into our new voting system that we are hoping to have live by the next vote. Our new tool. It's really cool. I'll get into that in a minute. But so charities will be able to buy Ark and then go on to our new system and add themselves as a voting choice for themselves. And they'll be able to do a reoccurring vote for just what their holdings are,
token.
Without being on the public voting list. And for that, there's only 4 gates that they're going to have to pass, which are basically really easy. And then if they want on our public voting list, and this will determine, how much we've grown it. The more we grow, the more charities we'll be able to have on our public list, because we don't want to thin it out too much. But it allows them to see where the areas in their nonprofit they need to work on to be able to pass all 12 gates. And then eventually they'll be able to make it onto our public list, which allows any holder to vote on them.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
so
that's fire.
So they can be on the private list before they're on the public list then.
Correct.
As they're working through.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that makes that's awesome. That's awesome, because you know why it's awesome, but I'm just going to tell it for the Dipatoers out there. This is awesome because as Greg identified, they went through so many charities that just didn't cut the mustard. Okay, that's a problem. That's a problem that needs fixing. So they integrated that into the project to go, okay, you can't pass the test today, but we're not going to leave you behind, because you did at some point in your existence probably actually had good intentions. So let's bring those back to the forefront and get you to play real ball and do real good things on this team. With this project. Yeah, that's great. That's absolutely great.
Yeah. So since we're a very small startup, I think our market cap somewhere around 200,000. But that being said, we've fundraised $91,818 total.
Wow.
Since a year and a half ago. 55,165 went to charities, and the rest went to holders as passive income. So we're still doing really good things, as tiny as we are, which means I'm just so excited as we grow, because that impact is going to grow with us.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I had someone send me an overview of how the Ark token works. Do you know what I'm talking about, Greg?
It may have been Rosemary.
No, it was Alaskan Squeeze, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So I was gonna. Do you mind if I show this this graphic of how it
love for you.
All right, so let's see if I can share my screen. There we go. I think this is it. And okay. So I don't know if you can see that. So do you want to go over this, how this Ark token actually works, Greg? for the audience to understand kind of how it works?
So actually, we've made a change. So there is a tiny bit of difference, but I'll get into that in a second. So every month we mint 1 million tokens. We started out with 100 million, and I know Patrick went over this, but it's the same tokenomics, just a modified version for Ark. So and then that's turned into XRP. And then 45%
you cut out for that one statement. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. You said every month. How much is?
1 million Ark are minted.
1 million Ark.
So Ark Institute did not black hole Ark token, so that way we can mint. An inflationary model.
Can you explain what black hole means? I'm sorry. What is black hole?
So
mean?
if you black hole a token, you can never make any more. The same with Bitcoin. You can never make any more Bitcoin. XRP, you can never make any more XRP. So that means they're black hole. So what we are doing is it's a structured inflationary model, very much unlike the US dollar. The US dollar is very inflationary. There is zero oversight. We have no clue how much they're actually minting. But we are a structured inflationary model. But so the first 1 million we minted our first month, it was 1% of the total supply. So the second time, since it was 1 million and then there was 101 million in existence, it was actually less than 1%. It was 0.99%. So it's a decreasing inflationary model. It's a less percentage every single time, but it's always the same amount of tokens. So those are sold into the market, and then half of it is what pays the charities based on the blockchain voting from the holders themselves. And each Ark you hold is equal to 1 token. So it's proportionate to how many you have.
Okay.
And then the other half right now is split between RPR token, which is Reaper, and then ASC, which is Ascension. And that goes to market buy those 2 coins and then airdrop to every holder based on the amount you hold. Now, I guess this will be a good time to get into our new voting mechanism that we're building. We have added what's called a pick your passive. So there was no choice in what your passive income was as an Ark holder up until hopefully this next vote, because you'll be able to pick how much you want, whether it's Reaper, whether it's Ascension, whether it's XRP. So we'll be able to pay you whatever you decide in whatever percentage increment you want. So if you want 80% in XRP, 20% in Reaper, that's what we'll give to you in your passive income.
Now, this is for the folks that are donating, buying the Ark tokens themselves.
So they don't ever donate anything. They never lose custody of their Ark. They can sell at any time. They just have the ability to vote where they want their portion of the funds to go to, which is the funds we generate. So it's never out of anybody else's wallet. It's always what we fundraise is what we donate.
Yeah. So basically, you buy the Ark token and you just know that a certain portion of it you're gonna get back in some passive income. So a certain portion of it is going to go to the operations of Ark Institute and making sure this all stays, keeps running smoothly. And then the other portion goes to the vote for the charities that are up for a vote. And that income then is dispersed to those charities, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So what we do is we keep 10%, and actually we keep it in Ark so that we don't have to sell it into XRP, which decreases the sell pressure, which is always good. But actually, we just instated for NFT holders, because we have Ark NFTs that we've Crypto Bacon Bits has made that we have sold in the past. So we're actually taking 10% of that and keeping it in Ark as well. And we are paying that Ark out to NFT holders directly, which decreases the sell pressure even more. And then the remaining 40% and 40% are what's going out to pay the charities and then the holders' passive income.
Nice. I want to welcome. We got some new people in here. We got Clint B. Welcome. JTXRP, who makes all those wonderful videos for the Reaper family. If you guys check out JTXRP's YouTube channel, there's a lot of instructional and informational white paper reading. For those of you who don't like to read the white paper, he's read it for you. We got our friend Joe Schmo in the house, and Booney82, and the lovely Kita's in here. Welcome. Thank you guys for coming. And Sam, did that answer your question? Sam asked about the 10% that now goes to the NFT holders. So I think you answered that. So that's fantastic.
Think it should have, yeah.
So all right. So I think this is a completely different concept on donating. Well, charitable giving, because you're saying you're getting to hold on to what you're getting to hold on to your investment. It's just that part of the earnings of that investment are going to the charity that you vote for, but you're
Correct.
still actually getting you're still getting income.
Correct.
Yes.
Melissa.
Yes.
Doesn't this sound like some very complex, mysterious thing called DeFi?
Yes, it does.
Now, here's my real question though. I love the passive income. That's great. Incentivize the holding. And the other portion of that goes to charity. I'm curious to know if for every holder of said token, passive income, but a portion of their initial acquisition of the token, thus their investment, went to donation. So can they write that off?
Yes, they would
give it to charity, right? So maybe you take your passive income, get a little bit more to balance your own ledger, knowing that you're doing good, and you've created your own system to keep on participating
to give even more.
Ark Institute project. I mean, that just sounds like a pretty simple play to me, but just wanted some validation.
So
on that.
That's what's so beautiful about. That's what's so beautiful about DeFi is they can do whatever they want with their passive.
That's right.
So my question is, are you going to provide them with the traditional statements that they would get for these types of earnings? Or is it going to be like, I don't know, like if I donate to Salvation Army, for example, right? I give cash or donate clothes or whatever, put it on my tax return. I just have to have the receipt. If you're smart, you keep receipts that you donated X amount, fair market value, blah, blah, blah. This is actually the amount, fair market value of the income that you received at the time you received it, right? As how I would assume one would be able to deduct it from their tax return. And because you are using vetted 501c3s, they're already going to be a recognized charity to enable them to donate or to deduct it from their taxes as a charitable contribution. So I guess I'm asking, do you or do you not even need to give them a statement?
So as far as the tax benefits of our donations, unfortunately, it doesn't go to the holders. I wish there was a way around that, and it could benefit the holders in that way as well. But there's no way around it. So yes, it does benefit Atum Industries, which I guess in and of itself is good. But yes, so at the time of the donation, whatever it is, USD value is the benefit you would get for your taxes.
So,
and 2 out of the 4 of our charities that we have on our list have Zone wallets, so they can actually donate anytime they want. As a matter of fact, the those two charities we've also done auctions for. And
cool.
we had a lot of people donate a lot of their Ark in these auctions as we auctioned things off. And all of that Ark that they donated went into a Zum wallet for these charities that are on our list. And they would be able to take that amount they donated in this auction, that amount of Ark, and they would be able to use to benefit their tax return.
Yep.
Okay, so the JTXRP says it's not a donation; it's better than a donation, and he says we need a word. I agree, JT. So the person, really honestly, for most folks that donate, like, I don't really care. I generally don't even try to deduct it from my tax return anyway. So I don't think it's a huge issue on that. I just want to be clear. Someone that buys the Ark token and then has their voting portion go to said charity that is a recognized charity, 501c3 or approved charity, they will or will not get somewhat of a benefit on their tax return. Will they be able to recognize? They will not.
No.
They will, however, be able to get a recognized benefit if they donate to those charities that have a wallet specifically that they could donate directly. Then they would. Correct? So right now, the way that it's working, if I'm understanding you, because Tomb Industries, they're like the main, the over, what do I want to say? The main company, the umbrella company over all of these, over top of the Ark Institute. They're the ones that are going to be donating per se. The money is going to come from Ark Institute because we don't want the money coming directly out of your personal wallets as you're buying these, right? So it is going towards the charity out of Ark Institute, which they will get the benefit when they file their tax returns. However, it is to the benefit of all members because that is part of keeping Ark Institute running smoothly and taking advantage of all the current tax laws that they would be able to take care of. They're take it, that is how I see it. You have a question, Simon? Sorry.
Well, I'm seeing a play there that might be kind of gone over, right? And you both touched on it a little bit, so I just want to put emphasis on this. A person, or rather one company, a company that is a profit company, could buy said Ark token. They can vote on half of half of those funds to go to said charity of what I want it to go to charity ABC, and it does. They can't write that portion off. However, they can donate the passive income asset to said charity. Okay, 100%. To the charity, right? A one-time play. Hear me out, people. A $10 bill to that company, and then it gives the whole year. It comes back because that charity now has the income producing asset, right? And now they've stabilized their liquidity for their projects, correct?
Or they can take their passive and buy more Ark and have a bigger
and keep going. Exactly. Just keep going. Yeah. And increase their, it's a solid circle of life right there, my friend. Solid.
So no matter how you look at it, first, this is one other thing I want to say. For those of you that are watching, we have 66 people watching tonight. Thank you so much. Please share this out. We might have some people that are on my Facebook that are not familiar with this space whatsoever. And people that are going to come across this video in the future as this digital asset space kind of gets really rolling, right? They're going to see this in the future. And I just want to appeal to them and say, the future is different than what we have now. And if you've always wanted to donate to something or give, let's not say donate. If you want to give and you want to help, and you want to promote goodness and kindness for humanity, this is the way that you can do that. And whether you choose to keep the passive income for your own purposes, or if you choose to reinvest it, this is a way for us, the people, to work together to create these sustainable type of charities to really to be unbreakable, right? Like you get enough of us coming together, joining arm in arm, we're unstoppable with the goodness that we can do in the world. And then couple that with teaching others on how to get their charities up and running to pass through all of your gates. I mean, what you guys are building is incredible. And
so I'll say one other huge benefit of the idea of what we're doing is so many charities, either went under or came to a halt during COVID. People just stopped giving. They lost their jobs, whatever it was. And there was just so much charitable giving that just stopped for a few years. Well, this fixes that because we're not going to stop giving no matter what happens.
That's incredible. And we haven't even touched on the tokenomics of the building built on XRP, and then it's attached with XRP. And as the value grows, what this is going to mean. I mean, the people that are going to watch this video 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are going to be like, like, wow, these guys were so early and what is happening. Like, it's super exciting what's being built. Like what you guys are building is super exciting. And
we are starting to back Ark with XRP as well, using the Pillars Fund. So just like the Drip Fund for Reaper, the Ascension Rain Fund, we are starting to build our XRP backing, which means when XRP does its thing and takes off, it's going to eventually take Ark with it. And at that point, there'll be no looking back.
Wow. Yes, I agree. You guys are on fire with what you're doing. It's just so keep expanding on how this works. I didn't want to leave the graphic up if it was outdated.
Oh, that's fine. It's just the NFTs that were the update.
Oh, the NFTs were the update. So do you want me to put it back up there to kind of to show people? Is it called the tokenomics of it? Is that what you say, the tokenomics? Because I think graphics are easy for people to understand when they're looking at them. So do you want to kind of explain how this works, Greg? Are these figures still right? Can you see it good enough, or do you want me to make it bigger?
They are. I mean, the figures are correct, but they're just adjusted a little bit to include the 10%. So you see how it says 10% of the XRP is spent to operational wallet.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not XRP anymore. I've changed that to Ark, to where we're going to build our dev wallet back up, so we don't have to sell it, and it decreases that sell pressure every 2 weeks when we mint and sell. And then another 10% of Ark is distributed directly to NFT holders. So this 45 and 22.5 and 22.5 are now 40, 20, and 20. So the 40% is what gets donated, either in XRP or US dollar, depending on the charity. And then the 20%, which buys Reaper, and 20%, which buys Ascension, and then gets airdropped to every holder based on the amount of Ark you hold. And that's, of course, going to change very, very soon, because we'll have our pick our passive, where you can either get it in Reaper, get it in Ascension, or get it in XRP if you like.
Yeah.
Or all three.
And then if you did that, so I'm going to stop sharing. So then if you did that, you could like compound what you're doing, right? Like you like that word, Simon, the compounding. So if you got it back,
I love a good compound.
Like if you got it back in the Ascension token, which is what is it, episode 28, I think, with Patrick L. Riley, who explains and goes over the Ascension token, which is then putting your money back to work again, right? I mean, this system of tokens that you're creating, and it's transparent, right? I mean, this is, I guess, I want to back up a little bit. If you could please explain to me, when you say the NFTs, what does that exactly mean? 10% goes to the NFTs. What is the NFT aspect of this? I don't know.
Sure. So what we did was, when we did our first two auctions, Crypto Bacon Bits, who is our artist,
love Bacon Bits.
He created 10 NFTs for both of those charities that are on our list. And we sold a couple of them in the auction to raise money. And then we sold them afterwards, sold the rest, the 8 left over, just on the open market, and people could come in and buy them. So what we've done is we've given a point to every single NFT we have based on how much they cost. So for every 1,000 XRP spent on the NFTs, you get a point attached to it. So depending on how many NFTs you hold, then you get per point so many ARK every 2 weeks now.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And then can they sell their NFTs to
Yes.
to your people, or?
So yeah, they can put it up for sale, and if somebody buys it, those points transition over to their wallet, whoever owns the NFTs, and the next time we do our mint and sell, then the ARK will go to that new holder, because we'll read the ledger before we do the airdrops, so we'll see exactly who holds that NFT before we airdrop it.
Very cool. And all of your is all of your information. So, okay, as we talked about it before, sorry, Simon, I'm hogging all the questions. I apologize. They're popping in my head. If as people are donating, and we talked about transparency in that, is there a way for them to see on the blockchain what's going on? What's being, donated, I guess, or?
Yeah, I mean, we keep a spreadsheet of all the numbers, and then we give that spreadsheet to the community, showing exactly what was minted, how much we got for it, how much to each charity it goes, how much to each holder, as far as passive income, and then you can follow every single transaction on the blockchain to find out exactly where it went. And absolutely, yeah, everything is available on the blockchain, and every wallet we have is public. So yeah, you can easily follow it as long as you know what you're doing. If you know how to follow along on XRP Scan or BitHop, yeah, everything.
And that's completely different than the current way.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just want to give a shout out. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to give a shout out to Crypto Bacon Bits. Is Crypto Bacon Bits the one that created the graphics? Then is that all of the graphics? Is that the one?
No, a lot of our graphics are done. They're done by Rosemary, and I know that she's had a lot of help from JT as well.
Somebody did this one. You see it? I love this one. There's a two,
that would
right?
Be Crypto Bacon Bits, and I did not okay this.
I love this. This is so fake. I love it. I absolutely love it. I had to share it with you guys. Sorry. Are you speechless?
I love it.
I love it. I love it.
I can't remember. There's like about three different 80s movies that just ran through my mind right there looking at that graphic. They should have been that should have been like that could have been the front cover of one of those VHSs back in the day.
Right.
that's absolute fire. Melissa, before you get to that, you were referencing something about a current system. What current system are you talking about?
I mean, the current system of charity donations, where we're either, like I said, you're either having it at work and saying, do you want to donate to this charity, and check a box off, and your work collects the money and does it. You never think about it. You're just like, oh, I'm donating. Or you're donating to something directly, thinking that the money's going somewhere. However, you don't know that it actually went where it's supposed to go. And whenever you ask for transparency, or outsiders are asking for the records, they're like, yeah, we're not going to share that with you. That's Nunya. And so it kind of put a bad taste in people's mouth. But this concept is so different than the traditional way of giving, right?
This isn't going to be the only way that charities are going to benefit from the blockchain. That there's going to be many smart people come in and figure out different ways, but it's going to, I feel like it's going to be an extremely important way that blockchain is benefiting charities. But eventually everything's going to be on the blockchain. And yes, that means it's going to be open for the public view to see exactly where every transaction is. Transparency is going to be huge. But I mean, it's not just currencies. It's not just minting and creating money to send to charities. It's going to be real estate. It's going to be data. Every bit of data, if it's not on the blockchain, it's not going to be verifiable. Just think how easy it is to fake anything today. Right. Fake a video, fake a picture that looks so real. But if
like
it's
the one I just showed, that one, one I just showed, was like so real.
That was very unrealistic, though.
Totally realistic.
Yeah, I mean, Chainlink is doing big things with data and being that bridge between off-chain data and on-chain data. When it comes to media, if that video or photo is not on the blockchain, it's not verified. Voting, everything's going to be on blockchain. Voting is going to be on blockchain. Eventually, they're going to really kick and scream about this one because they don't want to take away their ability to. I won't say it. I don't want to get.
They actually might have to do what they said they were gonna do.
Right.
Curly Bill, why are you trying to say Greg's muscles are not that big?
Oh, they're bigger. I've seen them.
It's okay.
In person in Vegas, they're massive.
I met him in person. I know.
The way that he held that huge wine glass full of cab. I mean, dude, whoa, bro, whoa.
We can change the subject.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Let's see. To my knowledge, I don't know what this part is. JT was saying as he was referring to future sales, but in my knowledge, the other NFTs were used to fund development as well. Not exactly sure what that conversation was. But Toasty says you're humble.
He might be thinking of maybe the Reaper or Ascension NFTs that were a small portion of it went to the company. But as far as I remember, the Ark NFTs, they either went to the charities or to Crypto Bacon Bits for his artwork.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong on that. It's been a while since we sold the last set, but
that's like housekeeping for those that are already involved, correct?
Yes.
Like it. Yeah. Light really does conquer darkness when this project realizes its full potential. I agree.
One of the smartest people there I know.
Oh geez, I'm gonna look at that. So What else can you tell us? So we can
cover
the
charities.
Yeah,
I would love to. So if you feel comfortable that we've covered Ark, so just quick overview for those that are just stopping in. So basically, according to this, every month Ark creates the 1 million tokens. They sell them at the market for more Ark or XRP. For the 1 million tokens, do they sell them at market for XRP? Or
so 800,000 per month are sold for XRP. The other 200,000 are kept into Ark. Half of it's given to NFT holders, half of it goes back to the company for
there you go,
marketing and operations.
Got ya. Mm-hmm. And then some of it is sent. Some of that is, well, you said it's kept for the operations wallet, and then 40%, becomes the funds for the donations for the charities. 20% buys the Reaper tokens, or you're saying at some point you're going to have more options, right? That it's going to go into.
Hopefully next weekend when we have our next event, we'll have our new system up and running to where you can pick your own passive.
Yeah. Okay. So that'd be the pick your own passive, and then 20-ish% of the XRP buys the ASC of the Ascension token at the market price. And then it says funds are donated to the charities in proportion to the Ark vote, and Reaper, or whatever your pick your passive, is distributed to the Ark holders in proportion to their Ark holdings. And then the Ascension is also distributed to the Ark holders in proportion to their Ark holders. And you can go to their website, www.ark.institute, and get a much more overview on how this is all working, for those of you that want to kind of look at the website as we're chatting. So yes, I would love to find out more about your charities. You have 4 now, correct?
We do. We have 4. So probably my favorite one is Innocence Project. So that's basically lawyers that are freely giving their time, their effort to help innocent victims that are wrongly convicted, and either on death row or they're in a life sentence in prison. There's so many wrongful convictions that happen all the time, and it happens way more than we realize. And you know what do investigators tend to take pride in? How many people they can lock up. Well, yeah. If you're not ethical, or you're okay with bending rules, you might do something that's like a false confession, force them into a false confession, or coercion to a plea, or any other kind of official misconduct. There's so many different things that have wrongfully locked away so many people, and these are not just hobos on the street. These are fathers. These are sons, taking them away from their families. So it's a very powerful nonprofit, and like I said, I think this was my favorite because they have done so many good things, and they are probably our biggest one by far. But we still want to support them any way we can, even if we raise and donate enough money to where one person can get off of death row. Then I feel like we've done our part.
That's always the thing with our legals. I personally, this one does touch my heart. I have someone that's very close to me that was a victim of that circumstance, who took a plea deal, had no money, not didn't have enough education and understanding of a situation that could have gotten them in very bad trouble and was absolutely terrified to go to prison. And the lawyer that he hired basically said, well, if this person gets on the stands and says this, you're going to go to prison for X amount of years, blah, blah, blah. If you take the plea, you're going to get this, and yada, yada, yada. And so now this person's life has been, I don't want to say ruined, because I'm not going to speak that.
I've come from the other side of the tracks on this.
Yeah.
Ruined, in my opinion, absolutely ruined.
Yes, and then there's nothing, there's nothing can be done, and so something like the Innocence Project is so worthy, and again too. I mean, they kind of, and this is off topic of the Ark token, but kind of it's on the topic of the charity. We're programmed. We watch these programs all the time, and we're rooting for the bad guy to be put in prison and lock him up. And you're watching the evidence that they have against this person, and it's like lots of circumstantial evidence that are convicting these people. And sometimes all it is this person says this and that and whatever, and the next thing you know, these people are in prison for life or whatever. And I'm thinking, you better be right. If you want to scream for the death penalty and all these things, you better be right that person did this, because there are a lot of people that have been falsely accused and imprisoned. And so I'm very happy to know that they're part of Ark Institute. Did they seek you out, or did you guys seek them out just out of curiosity?
No, it was actually one that was very near and dear to Patrick. So that's why we did look into them, and they passed with flying colors.
Amen.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Because most of us don't know, right? We get some legal documents served to us, we freak the F out. We do.
Yep.
We might not show that on our face, but that's definitely happening up in the headspace, and we are thrown off tilt. But everybody else within that process, they do that job 8 to 12 hours, 5 days a week. Everybody else, except for you, the one that is in the spotlight, so to speak. So that's fire, absolute fire.
And they use that fear they instill in you to get over on.
Oh, I know.
Well, how easy is it for somebody that's going to get paid? I mean, this person I know paid this lawyer a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of money, but every bit of money that they had, they paid this lawyer, and it was easy peasy. Get him to agree. He got paid the same, right? Yep. There's no fighting here. This is it. You take the plea and it's done. And this happens time and time again. So, yeah. So what's your second, what's another one of your charities that you want to talk about? Because I can talk about this all night. This is not even a crypto Dipatoe topic, but man, I'll tell you.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, this is the future right here. This is how business is going to get done. This is definitely crypto. Know what you hold.
Another one is Mobile Loaves and Fishes. They're out of Austin, Texas, and they are by far my favorite. So we actually went and visited and got to get on a golf cart and drive around and see what they're up to and see what they're doing. They started out with food trucks, and they would take food trucks, to these areas where there was a high amount of homeless people, and they would just feed them. And it turned into this community first village where people would donate these tiny homes and come in and build them in a few days, and they just have a huge community of tiny homes now, and they're pulling people off the streets, bringing them in, giving them a house, giving them meals, giving them a church, a community. They are giving them a way to make money by doing arts and crafts, and it's turned into such a beautiful community of people that are there to do nothing but love each other. And it was so awesome to get to see. And they're expanding massively. They're building another community now. They're growing that community they already have, but it's awesome to see. And we are actually working currently on chatting with Mobile Loaves and Fishes about maybe doing an auction soon, and hopefully I'll have more information on that within the next few weeks. But we are trying to cook something up that's going to be massive, and we are really looking forward to it and hope it works out.
I love it. So they basically have this area, and they buy these mobile units for folks to live in, and then do they give them this unit, or are they just give them the unit?
So they do make them pay a small amount of rent while they're in the community, but it's minimal.
That's incredible.
This is in Texas?
It is very much. That is in Austin, Texas, yes. And they have made a huge impact on the homeless community there.
I bet they have. Yeah, it's always it takes
That's awesome,
a passion and people with vision, and people willing to fight, because I'm sure in certain areas then they're like, I don't want that community here, and there's all these fights that you have to go through in order to do something good. And so it's awesome that they have actually built a model now that maybe other states can have their own mobile loaves and fish chapter, right? Where they can start doing it also, like a chain reaction type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guy who started Mobile Loaves and Fishes, he owned this huge chunk of property, which is where it's built on now. But it's such a massive piece of land that there's really nothing around where their community is. So It's not like people are having troubles with this community, like dropping their home prices or anything. It's kind of a very remote area.
But it's awesome. And there's going to be a bunch of folks that as this digital asset space comes into fruition to what it's really going to be, there's going to be people with money. And as we've all talked about, how we're kind of magnets with one another, a lot of do-gooders in this group of people. And I could see something like this just really expanding hugely, bigly, or whatever.
Every city needs one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see what do we got?
Three cities in my state that could use that like right now. That's all I'm going to say about that.
What's the next?
Our next one is raising men and women lawn care.
This is one of my favorites.
That's fire. Yeah, I've seen that separately. That's fire. I love that. I've seen.
Yeah, this one's by far my favorite.
Tell. I'll keep my mouth shut.
You said that about everyone so far. Just so you know, Greg.
Sounds made up. So Rodney Smith Jr. So the story is one day he was on his way home and he saw an elderly gentleman struggling to start his lawnmower. So he pulled his car off the side of the road, hopped out, ran over, started it for him, and thought to himself, you know what? I think I'm just going to mow his yard for him real quick. And then the guy thanked him, hugged him as he left, and he got in his car and left, and he goes, you know what? I've got an idea. So he started the 50-yard challenge, where he encourages youth all across the U.S. To do this 50-yard challenge. So these kids are learning commitment. They're learning service to others. They're learning how to love those that are less fortunate. And it's such a beautiful thing to witness, and how much it's growing since we started with him. And then once a year, he drives all the way around all 48 states of the lower 48. And then he flies to Hawaii and he flies to Alaska. And he gives every person that finishes the 50-yard challenge, he gives them a mower, a weed eater, and a blower. And just gives it to them, says thank you, drives on to the next person. and he is so committed to this. He's going to need a lot of help really soon because he's got, is it over 5,000 kids actively doing it right now?
Yeah.
5,153 kids doing it.
Oh yeah.
I see the little pictures that he posts on X of the kids that said, I joined the 50-yard challenge. And I mean, just what a fantastic idea. And like you said, teaching them, just humility, giving back, teaching a real world skill of cutting a grass, problem solving,
a business. That's a business right there, man. That's a business. Yep. Yeah. That's what you want, man. That's what, when I was growing up, I did both of those in my neighborhood, both of these, that mow lawns in my neighborhood. I cut grass. Another one, I was the paper boy. I delivered papers, and I had to go around and collect the money once a month and do that awkward knock. But it taught me good things in business, but just also my neighborhood. Build that relationship. Hi, so-and-so. Hi, so-and-so, it brought community together within the neighborhood. I think that I remember first hearing about this and I was like, dude, that's fire. Again, one idea fixes multiple things and serves multiple things with this one idea.
I love it. Yeah.
And you guys are definitely hitting with the Ark, man. Straight up. I mean, one idea fixes multiple things. I love it. Or addresses multiple things.
And I love that it's raising men and women.
Yeah.
It used to be raising men lawn care.
Yeah.
Until little girls started putting up signs, I'm doing the 50-yard challenge. You go, I better change it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Cut some grass. Cut some grass.
So the fourth one, and obviously this one's by far my favorite, is battle dogs. This is where we went to Alaska a couple months ago and got to visit and spend time and do some work for them, get to know them. What they're doing is absolutely incredible for our veterans. They hold these retreats, have no more than 4 or 5 veterans come for these retreats. And basically they call it a reset. And I'll get to that in a second, but they'll take them hunting, fishing, snow mobiling. They'll take them onto a glacier tour, on a plane ride. And it really helps these veterans that are struggling with PTSD, any other mental health issues. And it is very therapeutic for them. And they're doing some natural healing things that they're trying to add into it, which we really loved when we got to go see them. But it's such a wonderful outdoor experience, by harnessing that natural splendor that only Alaska really has. It's such a beautiful thing. And I'll tell you, so a big part of this is sledding with the dogs, because he's actually a dog musher, and he does the Iditarod every year.
Oh, really? Wow. Awesome.
So when I say that this is a reset for him, it never really dawned on me until when we were up there visiting and they took us out dog sledding. And you see these dogs that are just going crazy and yapping and trying to get off their collars. And as soon as you hook them up to the dog sled and line them up, they're ready to go. And when we take off, it's peaceful, it's quiet. They are on a mission. And it is a reset. And it clicked in my mind, y'all, when I was on that dog sled, and it clicked for me. I had lost control and I had tears coming out of my eyes, because that's what these veterans were in need of, so much need of. And when I got to experience it, it really hit me on what these guys are experiencing. And it's exactly what they need. So what these guys are doing, I'm gonna support what they're doing forever.
Absolutely. It's incredible. And I can understand. I've been to Alaska probably, I think I've been there 4 times now, maybe 5 times. My boyfriend happens to teach a study away course in Alaska, and he's done it for the last 15 years. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to go and see Alaska like this, like these guys are. And there's no more peaceful place. It's just, it's incredible. And I can only imagine how awesome it would be to be with the sled dogs and be out like you're saying. Because I just know, just walking around, I broke down crying at the salmon stream when Ryan took me the first time I ever went to Alaska. I can't remember exactly where it was, but there was a hatchery or fishery area. And I've always thought of myself as a salmon swimming the wrong way in the sea or in the ocean or the water or whatever. I'm always swimming the other way. Everybody else is going, and I'm like, no, guys, it's this way. And I'm watching these salmon jump and try to get up over this waterfall to get to where they need to go. And the tenacity and just keep going. And I just like, I started bawling, like sobbing. And he's like, what are you crying for? And I'm like, I don't know, man, but this is powerful shit right here. Watching a visual, the fish struggling to jump up that waterfall and making it. That was the other thing. And making it was just incredible. And so,
you know what makes it even more beautiful than that is the fact that they're going upstream to have children and die.
Yes. To reproduce and die. Yes.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some circle of life stuff right there. I'm in Washington State, like I'm 2 blocks away from the Puget Sound and the Strait of Juan de Fuca. So salmon fishing is a thing, and there is nothing more beautiful than seeing a school of salmon go upriver. And I mean, I've fished the river a lot, and there's times where it's just like, nah, I'm not. I got you on my hook, but it's a catch and release. I'm like, nah, go do it. That's a little too sensitive fisherman, But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And you're showing us the what was the name of war dogs? Was that it?
Battle dogs.
Battle dogs. Excuse me, battle dogs. I instantly had a flashback to the 90s, and there was a movie called Iron Will. It was done by Walt Disney, and it's about the that race that happens up there in Alaska.
I read it on.
And it based on true story, whatever. But still, that was the first like team dog movie that I fell in love with as a kid, because they use real dogs as opposed to 101 Dalmatians. By the way, still awesome movie. When you're talking about a reset and tears in your eye, absolutely, dude. Totally relatable. And I know that it's very beneficial to our heroes, that go out there and do extremely, I'm putting it really mildly here, do extremely hard things 24/7, right? And they need to see the opposite and experience, the opposite, and let that other stuff go and come back to the nurturing, the fostering, the why you said yes initially in the first place, and rediscover that part of yourself to to care and to be one with this green earth, if you will. So that's awesome. Yeah.
And what's so beautiful about it is, they've had so many people that have come through from their retreats, and then they find out later they told them, if it wasn't for battle dogs, I probably would have committed suicide by now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yep. Yeah,
such worthy stuff, charity. Like, this is the four organizations that you already have participating are, they're fantastic. Top of the notch. top of the day, top of the notch, whatever. Top notch charity.
Top of the notch. No. It's not
We're
top
gonna
notch.
cut that out. I'm gonna cut that out later.
There's top. No. I'm totally putting this in a short. They're not.
Huh?
They're not top notch. They're top of the notch. They are above the notch. Okay, they are a notch above the notch. That's what it is.
I agree, son. It's going to make a great short.
I'm totally doing it. I can stay up late. I got laid off, so it's coming strong.
Like, take two. What I'm trying to say is these are top-notch charity organizations, people that have put together a place to help others in a real way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing more real than taking a veteran on a snow excursion with the dogs, the sled dogs, or like I said, like looking at the salmon swimming, or providing someone a home, or teaching a child humanity, humility, work ethic, all these types of things, like they're doing with the kids, the raising men and women, is fantastic.
In one way or another, all 4 of our charities are literally saving lives.
They are
in their own way.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And not only, this is what I also want to say for those of you that are watching that are not into this digital asset space yet, and I'm just presuming that some of my family and friends are going to watch this. These charities are legit, and they chose Ark Institute to participate with Ark Institute. So this is a legitimate thing. This is at the very beginning of something that is already incredibly special. And in the sky is the limit of where this is going to go. And the more people that we get involved in this, it's incredible what we can do. Because a lot of times we think we're just one little person. What can I possibly do? Right. I only got $10. I'd love to help you more. I only have $10, or I can only give you a hug or whatever. But look what you can do with a small little dollar to participate in something like this and get that chain reaction going with your money and your funds and helping others. It's fantastic. I'm just,
if
I love you guys,
people
so
out
much.
there watching right now, if you haven't smashed the likes by now, dude, smash the likes. Are you kidding me?
We got 180 people watching. We should have 180 people on Dipatoe by the end of the show.
If you're not going to smash the likes, then go get some Ark, dude. Just okay. That's the only way you get out of here without giving us a thumbs up. You go get yourself some Ark right now. You do it. Chop, chop.
We got about 15 more minutes, and I want, unless this goes over, depending on, we're gonna let Greg direct this, because we really haven't gone over your criteria. I don't know if you want to go through those steps of what these so now that we've presented 4 of these fantastic charities, and I don't even know if that's the right word for them, but we're going to say that they're charities at this point because that's the word. Maybe JT can figure out a different name, but I mean, well, maybe he said he's talking about donation, so maybe charity is still okay, but it's not even. It's just a helping hand that's being given, and we've got these 4 that are participating, and I would like you to kind of go through the gates that they all had to pass through in order to check off that list to be participating in Ark Institute.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so our first one is it has to be a sustainable model for continued impact. The organization must be able to provide a seed that, if left unattended, can grow on itself. And this was really one of Patrick's ideas for one of our gates, because when he was in the military and they would go and do relief efforts, help other countries out, he noticed that there was a big problem with just going in, giving them some aid, and then just leaving them with no way else to benefit in the future. So we just want to make sure that it's going to be a continued growth that they're building, and not something that they'll just help and then forget.
Yes.
Band-Aid.
So the second one is the organization must build the subject, not buy the subject. A charity gives, an architect builds. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. The personal acumen of the organization founder or current leader must be up to the task of the organization. And I
was gonna say, how do you evaluate that? That's number 3. That's how do you do that?
Well, it's funny because we actually had a 5th charity for 3 months.
Oh.
We had Operation Underground Railroad as our 5th
I heard
charity.
about that. Yeah.
I actually got a little bit of inside knowledge on Tim, and that something might be going down as far as legal issues with him running the charity. So we pulled it just in case because of that gate alone. And it's really good we did, because he is still in court fighting sexual harassment charges.
Oh, no.
That it doesn't look like he's innocent of.
Oh, that's a disappointment.
So it is. It's very, very much so. And, you know, I'm so passionate about child sex trafficking. And it might just end up being something we have to do through our incubator and start our own, because it's so hard to find one that doesn't have something in their closet.
Oh, geez.
But anyways,
so
the next gate is greater than 70% of the funds of the organization must impact the subject of the organization. So as long as 70% goes to whatever it is they're trying to impact, the other 30% can go to pay whoever they need.
I think did you skip over the sorry, I'm following along. By the way, guys, I posted the white paper that has all of these within the chat. And if you can't access it, you just have to go to Ark Institute. And then
I think
you'll be able to
skip one.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to call you out, but this one's important. This number 4.
Yes, she did. She's been waiting since Vegas to do it. She's been waiting for Vegas since Vegas to call you out. Just kidding. Yeah,
so the 4th one is executives and employees cannot be compensated above market rate, which of course comes from that 30%. As long you know, and it depends on where they're out of, because you know, somebody out of LA, the market rate is way different than somebody out of Little Rock, Arkansas, you know. So
absolutely. But so you guys do the due diligence of researching. Well, you're looking at, I'm assuming you maybe look at their financials, or at least you do the due diligence enough to look at their business expenses to determine whether or not they are paying these people a fair salary for their area, and then probably all the other expenses as well. I mean, you do have to meet people and all this kind of stuff, but I mean, those of us that get reimbursed for, you know, dinner and things like this, when you're on you're going away, there's a market rate, like you say, depending on where you live. So you have somebody within your organization that's kind of taking a look and doing this deep dive before they get accepted, right?
Yes.
The passer. That's fantastic. Fantastic.
There must be an accountable entity who is liable for all actions of the organization. So somebody has to be able to be held accountable if something goes south. If not, then that's usually a red flag. Organizations must prove a history of greater than 1 year of affecting positive change through the financial deployment. So we do require them to at least be running for a year before we'll let them go on our public voting list. The organization must have well-established accounting practices, which produce verifiable receipts and invoices for donations, as well as published statements. Obviously, hopefully soon, and that won't be an issue because everything will be on the blockchain and immediately auditable. Organization may not discriminate based on race, color, gender, sexual orientation, religion, age, or any other human condition. That one's pretty obvious. You know, we got to have that in there.
Right.
The organization must not be politically motivated or affiliated.
Ooh.
So
that's a big one.
Yeah, you'll learn that Patrick and I both, even though he ran for president in the Republican Party, we are both very against the divide and conquer Republican versus Democrat. So we want to stay away from anything politically motivated because that usually tends to bring in
bad elements. I'll just say bad elements, right?
Yeah,
I'm just going to say bad elements. Yep.
Organization must be fulfilling a purpose that is undeniably needed in the world. And of course, the 4 we have are undeniably needed. There's a need for all 4 of them.
Absolutely.
There's probably not many charities other than the ones that are a little crooked that would not pass this one. Obviously, if there's a charity, somebody felt like there's a need.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the 12th gate is this: the organization must be pure and without conflict of character. Obviously, this one's a little more on a moral spectrum, on an ethical spectrum, maybe more of our opinion than it is fact-based, but usually that's pretty clear if there is no conflict of character. So and then we actually have a 13th, but we don't tell anybody.
Well, the 13th gate.
Lucky number
we're going
13.
movies now. We're going movies.
We got 193 people watching. Hello, people. Thank you for coming to the Dipatoe and sharing this experience and this overview of Ark Institute with Greg Prewett. What's the 13th?
Actually, our 13th is: would adding this charity to our voting list end Ark Institute?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, something we keep in mind, but it's not one of our 12 gates.
Well, it kind of puts it back on you then. So my question for number 12 was, who determines that? Is there a committee of you that are passing, you know, as you pass through? I assume it's not just just yourself responsible to make these decisions alone. Do you have like a committee of folks that where you're discussing and, you know, deciding whether or not they pass a gate?
Yeah, we have Patrick and I, and then 5 others. So when we're actually looking at these charities, all 7 of us are digging into them at the same time, and coming up with our own feelings on it. And then we kind of come together and put it all on the table and decide from a majority standpoint whether or not they pass those.
Okay. You guys have quite a team also. I was going to bring up your about page with your founders. Do you mind if I bring that page up?
Absolutely.
So let's see if I get it, if I can share it. So here's your Ark founders. So there's 8 of you that are on the team right now, that are considered the founders, right?
Yeah. So Jason, he's our web designer for Reaper, Ascension, Ark, Pillars. But as far as our meetings, he's not typically part of the meetings. So yes, we definitely need him on board, but we don't expect much out of him as far as running the company itself.
Right. Yeah. You want him to have his creative flow going. You don't want to bog him down with the other stuff, right? Yeah, I get it. Fantastic. And I know Rosemary,
and then Michael White, who is basically my nonprofit expert I go to when I have questions. Rich Greeley, who is Crypto Bacon Bits, our artist.
Bacon Bits.
So Rich, and then Stephen Brocious, his blues brother. He's kind of my second-hand man. If I need anything done, he takes care of it for me.
Is that Alaskan Squeeze, by the way?
It is.
Or no?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I chat back and forth with Alaskan Squeeze. We're friends from way back.
And then Clint, who is quickly becoming the biggest rising star in the ecosystem. He's currently the one that's running Ascension, but also he's doing a lot of the programming when it comes to what we're trying to build, and for our airdrop tool that he has designed. He is a superstar, and he is definitely somebody that I can go to at any point for help with anything. So it's a very, very powerful group of people I have around me.
Very cool.
And a very loving and caring group of people also.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love Rosemary. She's the one that introduced me to you guys from the beginning. I met her a couple years ago, and I've been blessed ever since. And I knew that I trusted her enough, and knew my gut instincts on her was that she would not be associated with bad people. And then, I mean, of course I was right. Yeah, just an amazing woman.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, love Rosemary. So they have to pass through all these gates before they get consideration to be part of Ark Institute. Where do you see this going? Timelines, like scaling it out. What are your aspirations? Are you going to be able to have a lot of charities on this? Are you going to set yourself at a limit with them? I mean, you've got 4 now. Where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years? Are you expecting to get more on board?
So my goal, I'll just put it this way: by the end of the year, I would really like to have 5 charities that are onboarded for phase 2. That means that they're not going to be on our public voting list, but they'll be able to onboard themselves using KYB, which is Know Your Business, to verify that they are a legitimate nonprofit, check out their tax forms, and then we'll be able to add them into our database so they can vote on themselves. I would like to have 5 of them by the end of the year.
5 new ones, right?
5 new ones, correct.
5 new ones. Okay.
And if I don't ever talk about price, but if the value of ARK tokens increases enough to where we can add more to our public list, gladly find more to add. The more charities we can go on there, the better. But in 5 years, I would really like to have the incubator phase up and running pretty powerfully. So ARK card deployed. Hopefully next year we can partner with somebody who's building some kind of a debit card that's attached to the XRP ledger, and that'll allow us to collect some data, and then we can start startups our own and get some new charities going in areas that need it.
I was going to ask you on the card, what's the beta test look like on that? What do you guys, at least right now, what's on the M3 sticky note for, hey, for us to use the cards for the homeless? Is there a threshold as far as a ratio within that populace that maybe you guys are trying to target to get some good data or something like that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, we're going to deploy these out in bulk. Got to get as many out there as possible, not only to benefit the homeless out there, to be able to, live in a cashless society, or be able to use a debit card instead of having to change. But yeah, the more data we can get, it's kind of all up in the air right now.
Okay.
As far as partnerships, we have a couple of possibilities in mind. I know that XR PayNet is building something along the lines of what we're looking for. Whether or not we'll be able to partner with them, we don't know yet. But there are a couple of other companies that are trying to do the same thing. It's just kind of a slow process of building.
This is kind of a dumb question. Sorry, dumb question, but you keep saying data. Like, what kind of data are you looking for with the card? I don't. What would you get?
Where the people that are accepting money on the streets are taking it and swiping it? Is it the liquor store? Is it the grocery store? Is it fast food? Is it? Are they giving most of it away to the other homeless people in their communities? There's a lot of data that we're going to compile and find out what the greatest needs are and where they are.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because
I'm glad I asked.
That's good, because especially for the data, because that'll help you determine that, hey, they're just going to get cash. And I used to, when I'd go downtown and we'd go whoop it up, I would always give cash, right? And I had a few friends, few DJing buddies that were from California, and say, "Oh, dude, never give cash." Like, why? It's like, well, you don't know if they're actually getting something good. It's like, cool, good on you for wanting to help a brother, sister out or whatever, but you don't know if they're actually going to be doing good things for themselves with that. So, instead, go buy them food, or, bring them in, or take them in the clothing store, buy them a pair of shoes, buy them a pair of pants, right? Give them a plug like that, and so, the data can, in my viewpoint, I think that's a great idea, just to see where it's at. Is there misuse? If there is, let's mitigate that, because still, that's a whole different way to live, and it's tough out there, real tough, so if you can help mitigate and guide towards encouraging them to, here's this thing where I can at least take care of myself in this matter. Now they've leveraged their time, so to speak, and now maybe they can progress, as opposed to sit out on the street hoping for the $5, because with the QR code, I could just print it out and be like, I've had multiple conversations with, Fred, the bridge guy. I only know his first name, and he's always on the bridge, and he's a guy. So there we go. And so I can just send, send it to him, hey man, I got your plug. Hey man, I got your plug, or people coming to a program, phase one of the tiny home project you got there. Exactly. Well, first we need to make sure that they're good and fed and not in that strenuous system. So, that's the implementation one to, stage one, to get your mind right back into taking care of yourself. 3 hots, at least 3 hots, then maybe 3 hots in a cot that's not in jail. Those types of things. Yeah. I remember talking with you, Greg, in Vegas, about that, like right out the gate. It was like 10 minutes into the Thursday night VIP party that we were at. Right. And you told me about that. I'm like, oh my God, that's fire. Wow. That's absolutely amazing. Definitely a need, and can really mitigate a lot of things within those communities on both sides of the street. The doing good and the not doing good. Now there's a path to help get the not doing good to, hey, actually, I kind of want to actually do good now, but you need that foster, you need that light, you need that fire, and that will definitely help, in my opinion. So that's why I ask, actually. We plan on starting this in Austin, and obviously we're going to partner with Mobile Loaves and Fishes, and so as we collect that data, it's going to help them out as well. Perfect.
Then hopefully we can just spread out like wildfire from there. Yeah,
no, that's awesome. Sounds like walking down the streets at night during Christmas will be a little bit different, as opposed to just giving someone a blanket, man. You'd be like, dude, here you go. you know, team up, all three of you. Now you can get a hotel, be warm, have a hot shower or something, whatever. I mean, that's Band-Aid type stuff, but it can continue and continue and continue. So,
right.
I want to say thank you to the 220 people that are live with us tonight. We really appreciate you coming to the Dipatoe show. If you'd please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We're at Dipatoe on YouTube and Rumble, and at Dipatoe Show on X. We're trying to grow our channel, so if you'd help us out, we'd really, really appreciate it. And I wanted to say hello to Darren Baxter and Brooke Odyssey. Our friend Brooke is here tonight supporting you, Greg, and Ark Institute. Thank you guys for coming. Res Solutions here as well. And our friend Optimistic Crime. Optimistic's back in the house. So Toastman Tech, Toasty. Our friend Toasty, I don't know if I shouted him out earlier, but I've been seeing him. And Schmeckles is here.
Schmeckles.
Your Schmeckles. XRPL is here.
One of my favorite ever.
I will tell you this. I have not seen so much support for any show that I've done, that we've done together, Simon, or when I've done Beyond the Brink with Christy. And Tiara's here. I have not seen so much support as I've seen for you guys, for Patrick and yourself and the whole Reaper Financial, Atum Industries, the Riley Financial System, whatever we call it. And K Buddy is here. I haven't seen this much support. You have a lot of people, a great team that's behind you and supporting you. Mm-hmm. And so I just know that you're going to be successful. You already are, but we're speaking it into existence right now. Right. Because you have so many folks that are behind you, and it's just fantastic. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you all. I really am.
I truly am extremely humbled. Because I don't deserve any of it.
Oh, stop that. Nonsense. Nope. No.
It is so humbling, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, Drew Ankita. I assume you know who this is that keeps saying, yes. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Drew,
he's actually one of the founders of Pillar.
Okay. You're worthy
next,
of
You're next going to be on the Dipatoe Let's Talk Crypto show.
You deserve everything.
You do.
Oh, Curly Bill says Dipatoe's doing its part to help us grow. You're welcome, Curly Bill. We love you. We love you guys.
Thank you, brother.
I think, because so for those of you who are in this space and have been kind of dipping your toes around it and stuff, you see there's a lot of different projects and the meme tokens and all of that, and they all have their place as they learn how this whole system works, right? They're building new things, and and some are better than others, and you guys have a very well thought out plan, in my opinion, from what I've observed, and you're able to communicate it effectively. You've done your due diligence, you're connected, getting yourself in circles with high level players. And I think I have a gnat on my forehead. Oh, I tell you what, it just gets better and better. It's hot as hell here in my place. I got 3 fans blowing on me. Now I got a fruit fly or something that just flew on my forehead. I'm like, really?
Caught in the draft. Really? It's caught in the draft.
So, in any event, you guys are doing your due diligence. You're the real deal, and you definitely have my support. Simon, what say you?
You honestly took the words right out of my mouth, and that's no easy task. Everybody knows I'm a big talker. You guys got it on lock. You really do. When I say it has been an honor to get to have wonderful conversations with you and Patrick and K-Buddy and others that not only I met in Vegas, but have on the show, have had the privilege to see on the show and talk with you on the show, and other scenes as well. The connection that we have was, and that we have now, for me was instant. Like this sounds legit good, like a moth to a flame on steroids, just that fast, and in this space, those of us that are cryptopians and we've been in this space for a while, we know we literally can just spot the good from a mile away, and we can spot the you need to work on your stuff a mile away. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not your cup of tea, and what you have right here is cup of tea. And even if you guys don't achieve or execute the vision, how you visualize it now inside your head in your lifetimes, I absolutely know for a fact that there will be others in your wake that will continue to carry the ball for the next industrial revolution. Like this is how much fire it is. Individuals like Optimistic Prime, doing that token creation there. I'm just like, holy buckets, dude, that is absolute fire. Fire. Here's where the vision is the value as opposed to the price. Price is nothing, So I say all that to say that if you guys don't already know, here on the Dipatoe show, this is a absolute fire project. Get some, be a part of it, and learn, because this thing is going to grow over time. I mean, you can already see the proofs in the pudding on who they're playing with. You can see their checklist they have, and I'm telling you what, like that is a good checklist, solid, straightforward, no sauce. Just here it is. Either you can or you can't, and that's what this world needs: can or can't. Right? That's just it. And you guys are bringing that and utilizing this technology and system that is being literally built right now. So that's fire. Absolute fire, my friend. Absolute fire. I look forward to the next Vegas or the next convention that you guys are at, because when I was there, here we go. I'm going a little off the rails now. So when I was there in Vegas and I was chatting everybody up, like I really wanted to bring some content for the viewership, right? But I was like, you know what? I just want to connect with the people. And that was literally the vibe the whole time in Vegas, right? We all just wanted to connect, and I'm watching your guys' booth, and I'm watching other people's booth, and I'm like, dude, these guys, like, they need a cheerleader here. They just need some cheerleaders here or something, some engagement. And I was already knee deep in what I was doing. I was like, next time if they're doing a show and I'm in there and I'm there and they're there, I want to be at least give 2 hours of my time to say, hey, come here, check this out. Hey, come here, check this out. Hey, do you guys like candy? No, that's great. Come over here. We're candy free. Here is this project. Because like, dude, you guys, I mean, people that did not go to your booth, they missed it. Hopefully they're watching right now. They just didn't know. They had no idea, right? And see, and as most of us always know, it's always the quiet ones that are the home run hitters. Always. It's always the quiet ones. Now I can't talk. I can't talk for nothing. I'm talking like Melissa here with a notch and a notch. It's always the quiet ones that are absolute fire. So, next time you guys go to a convention, which I'm sure there's a few more going on, but. And I'm able to make it. I volunteer a couple hours of my time to wrestle up some of the herd and get them over to your booth, man. Talk about the good things y'all do.
I'll wrestle them for you.
Love it.
Before we go, Atlantic Living, hello, welcome. Wants to know what each of you learned tonight that you didn't know yesterday, which is a loaded question.
I learned that there's a notch above the notch.
Zing! Huh? Nailed it. But I think that is a perfect question to ask the audience that is watching tonight. what did you learn that you didn't know yesterday by watching this video? And it'd be a perfect question to answer in the comments on the bottom of our video on either Rumble or YouTube or X, to maybe we'll get some answers for you, or if you have more questions, we'll get answers. And if you just have statements, and that you actually learned something, I want to thank you so much for spending all of this time with us and sharing your vision and bringing us up to speed and explaining how it works. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before we say goodbye to you tonight?
Yeah. Here, first of all, go to our website.
Whoa, get the merch, baby. Get the merch.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, please go get merch. We do get a tiny cut of it, but we are actually partnering with XRPL merch, who I believe Schmeckles also partners with them. So their quality is excellent. So we're doing it just to partner with them, get their name out there as well, but we do benefit from it a little bit. So there's a link at the top of our website if you want. We got shirts and other stuff. So, but second of all, I guess I want to leave everybody with, as you go through your day to day, it's very easy to get caught up in the worries and the stress, and it's always over the things that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So take a step back, take a deep breath, focus on what truly matters, invest in loving one another, build meaningful connections, spread kindness. Throughout your day, God presents you with so many opportunities where you could make a difference in somebody's lives in one way or another. So start praying for those opportunities to become obvious. These are the things that create lasting impacts, and bring true fulfillment for yourself and for others. In the end, small troubles will fade away, So I'll leave you with this quote, and nobody actually made this quote, but it's pretty deep. When we embrace the act of loving one another, the small worries and daily troubles fade into the background, reminding us that in the light of genuine connection, it matters so little.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Bro, you need that.
That's
you need
fantastic.
That framed up right behind you.
I think I might.
Real deal. You should. That's fire. I love inspirational one-liners. I love that stuff, man, because it just, for me, it just gets in there fast, quick, and I can, and I move on. That's a beautiful quote. That's absolutely beautiful. You need that behind you.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, done. Do it.
Well, I would love to have you on again. And I hope that those of you that are listening out there, that you've been inspired. If you know of a charity, check out the Ark Institute website, Ark Institute website, and kind of go through it and look and see if you could pass any of the gates, and reach out and try to become part of this wonderful thing that's being built. The future. Wow, look at that. Those are the merch. Is that the merch?
Dude, you got dude, you got the 15 ouncer, bro. That's now, see, where I come from, that's a Seattle cup of coffee right there. That's standard, right? That's a standard. Yeah. Look at that.
I know what I want for Christmas.
Yeah. There you go. Christmas. Why wait? It's now. The gift of giving is the whole year, right? So let's go.
Right.
True. I may gift myself.
All right. Hey, Simon, Melissa, thank you so much for your kind words. Hopefully, Melissa, are you going to take us out with "Don't Stop Believing"?
Cheer.
No. We're just gonna go with the standard Dipatoe outro. Just saying. Right. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like,
everybody.
share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Dipatoe, 8 p.m. every Wednesday. Have a good night. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.